to talk tech. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the middle child of two brothers, 3.5 years spanning between the oldest and the youngest. I'm educated as a graphic designer and an architect. I have 30+ years experience in marketing, design, production, and operations. And I live at Ocean as the VP of Delivery today. Pillars include marketing, advertising, production, and CGI, which is computer graphics imaging. And verticals include pharmaceuticals, automotives, fintech, finance, telecom, consumer products, and film. With that said, show of hands, how many people know who Dr. Seuss is? Okay, wonderful. You probably do, and don't realize you do. Dr. Seuss created The Grinch, The Lorax. These are some famous books and movies put out, written by this gentleman. So he has a book called Oh, the Places You'll Go. So one of my quotes is, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. Keep that in mind as I go through this presentation. Today, I'll talk about technology, naturally, timelines, pioneers in the industry, and case studies. Some case studies that I've worked on personally at the various companies I've worked in. So let's talk technology. What is technology? Technology, by the definition, is knowledge, a practical application. What does it mean to me? It means advancement. Knowledge, a process, innovation, creative, and it's not always tangible or apparent, but it runs under everything we do. When you look at the technology timeline, this is not everything, but I want you to look at the fact that the first printing press was done in 1436. The computer, the mainframe computers, were actually developed somewhere between 1930 and 1943, but a personal computer didn't come out until 1974. So technology has advanced tremendously between the 70s and today. Pioneers in the industry. Let's think about that. Who were the women that came before us? Heard earlier, Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace, I look as a very hopeful individual. Hopeful in the fact that she is one of the first computer programmers of record. Grace Hooper. This is an individual that I completely admire. In the years that she was in the military in the US, women didn't hold high-ranking positions, and she did. She's also instrumental in developing COBOL. Next person, Katherine Johnson. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of her. She's known as the human computer. She was an employee at NASA and helped the first space. She predicted the paths, the flight paths around the moon for the first astronaut in the United States. She was also at NASA during a time of segregation, where black people had their space, white people had their space, and they didn't intermingle. She is instrumental in helping break that down within NASA. There's a movie about her and her couple of other colleagues. It's called Hidden Figures. If you hadn't seen it, it's worth seeing. Anita Borg. She's empathy. She created the first institute for women in technology. Now, this is where we start to break the paradigm a little bit. Susan Kerr. She is iconic. She's a graphic designer and an artist. She created the first language, iconography, typography, and graphics for the first Apple Macintosh computer. Carol Shaw, first game designer, woman game designer. She worked for Atari and Activision, two of the biggest gaming companies at the time, and created 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, River Raid. These are all programs that gamers, the platform today. The next two are inspirational to me. The first one is Victoria Alonso. Victoria Alonso is an Argentinian woman who broke the mold and became one of the executives of Marvel Studios. Meg Frost is another one who influenced me. She is a director at Apple, and she was a design director, or design lead for iTunes Music Studio. Later went on to do Maps, iCloud, and Education. So she's the lead director of all of those. What do they all have in common? Absolutely nothing. However, they're part of history. Well, we should rename that. Maybe it should be her story. They paved the path for the future for all of us. So let's look at a couple of case studies. Now, again, technology underlines every one of these case studies. My career path, I've worked at 3 very large branding and marketing firms, Seal & Gale, Landor. RGA was a digital advertising agency, and Perception was a creative lab, innovation lab. And today, Ocean. How they ladder up, I'll take you through each one of them. Printing, Seal & Gale, American Express credit cards. If you haven't seen this skit by Jerry Seinfeld, he claims he originated it. Not necessarily true, but okay, he's putting it out there. It's a pretty funny video on TikTok. Here's where technology changed. It changed from going to printing on plastic to now engraving on titanium. The brief for this particular project was, we want the plunk factor. We want people to know this is our most exclusive card out there, it's invitation only, and we don't want to do the norm of printing. So we built the technology around engraving on titanium. Landor to RGA. Verizon. Verizon is a telecommunication company in the United States. It is domestic. Their international partner is Vodafone. Had the privilege of helping to rebrand and all of the digital properties for Verizon. With that said, came a mobile set of guidelines. Verizon will white label apps, but they want them to be in their brand. So how do you ensure that they're in their brand? Best way to do that, create an APK with developer notes and pass it out to everybody. So the developers of the white labeled apps were forced to use the Verizon brand. In addition, I worked on 4G LTE. This famous ringtone, I can play it for you, it's right here. That plays on all Android phones if it's Verizon. So this not only included visual, but also sonic, which is sound. How do things sound? How do they look? It all goes partial and together. Next one I want to take you through is Capital One. Capital One is a credit card company, as everybody knows, and they needed to change the perception that they would only give out credit cards to people who had bad credit ratings. They needed to change that perception. So this next case study is a video, and it will help explain what the platform was, and then I'll tell you what the technology is underneath it.
Every March, the NCAA tournament creates 3 weeks of college basketball madness. Every fan has a favorite. Every fan has a cheer. And thanks to Capital One's unique social program, we gave every fan a voice. This year, we amplified fan cheers on Twitter and YouTube, bringing them closer to the Final Four action as the official corporate champion of the NCAA. The Rally Cry hashtag became a virtual megaphone for fans to let their voices fly. In a fierce battle of tweet to compete, fans vied to dominate our school leaderboard and the Twitter sphere. From the Social Command Center, the Capital One All-Star team made every Rally Cry tweet count. We made every fan the sixth man, heated up rivalries, and ran a full-court press on engagement. We high-fived every fan by listening, responding, and rewarding them. And when they jumped up to cheer on Twitter, they were waving the flags we delivered. Rally Cry took our real-time Twitter engagement to new heights. Using custom creative to capitalize on celebrity engagement, everyone got in on the rally cry action. From Alec through our TV spots.
Charles, give me that phone.
To pump up the fan experience on the ground, rally cry exploded on the scene at the Final Four. YouTube celebs reported real-time action to get fans at home into the game. JamFest showcased the incredible musical talent of Sting and Dave Matthews Band and was live tweeted to fans across the globe. Best Seat in the House stole the show when a few lucky fans went from the nosebleeds to courtside seats. Our stats shine. Nearly 5 million vlogger video views, 130 million organic impressions, 18,000 hashtag rally cry mentions, and 4,000 retweets. Capital One was the most social brand during March Madness, by a long shot. We saw a 268% greater engagement level than the average Twitter campaign. Rally Cry lit up the social scoreboard, recruiting thousands of new fans in the process. In 3 short weeks, Rally Cry gave every fan a voice and got them into the action. We tweeted, we scored, and left fans rallying for more.
So again, this is a social media campaign. A social media campaign, we had to create an algorithm that sat on top of all the social media channels in order to allow fans to tweet their team to the top. We had a social response center set up from Selection Sunday all the way to the big dance, which is about 3.5 weeks. We had people monitoring every single game and taking it to the next level. We also used our ad-serving partners to put out online advertising, real-time online advertising. With that said, we created 9 adverts that aired across TV and all the social channels. So as you saw, the uplift in Capital One's awareness became extraordinary. Next case study I'm going to take you through is Samsung. So I've had the privilege of working for Samsung for quite some time.
Okay, so this is the Jay-Z Magna Carta Holy Grail app, which was an app that was created to deliver 1 million free Jay-Z albums to Samsung Galaxy owners.
That sounds like a great deal.
It was a pretty good deal because in addition to getting the free album, the app did some pretty cool things.
How do you navigate your way through this whole thing?
Well, it was pretty simple. When you installed the app, the first thing you saw was that there was this lyric book, but you couldn't even read the lyrics because they were all blacked out.
Jesus.
No, it's okay. Because what you could do is grab a couple bars of redacted lyrics, and when you shared that out into social, the lyrics unredacted in your friends' feeds.
Whoa, how could that be?
I know, you just revealed lyrics from Jay-Z's new album to all your friends that nobody's ever seen before.
We're trying to achieve something that they can't grasp.
No, I think they get it. But what was even cooler was that after you shared the lyrics, the entire song sheet unredacted in your app. And now Jay-Z's giving you full lyrics to songs he hasn't even put out yet.
Like, am I giving it to them to make myself feel better?
No, app users got lyrics so they can get a glimpse into the creative process behind the album, which is also why the app is packed with all this exclusive video content that shows you how Jay-Z and his collaborators come up with songs. And this was all before the album even downloaded into the app. That happened on July 4th.
I think I'm ready now.
Exactly what app users were thinking, which is why they were really pumped to get the album through the app 3 days before it went on sale for the rest of the world. And what most app users found was that getting the album this way completely changed their life.
Doesn't change your life at all.
Okay, but it did change the way the Recording Industry Association of America certifies albums as platinum, which opened the door for brands of all kinds to participate more in the way music fans interact with their favorite artists. What, did that sound like case study jargon?
You either have to shut that off or you're gonna go off the cliff.
So as you can see, it was an app, and it was an app created specifically for Samsung to drop on Samsung Galaxy phones. The brief here was Samsung wanted to take market share away from Apple. Apple iPhone outshined. So with the new Samsung Galaxies, they decided to drop this app and this album. The return on investment was over 10 million Galaxy S4 devices sold just for this purpose. So the ROI proved to be worth the effort of putting an app together just to drop on a phone. Credits, be remiss if I don't put the credits out there. This was RGA, and 72 and Sunny, who did all of the materials for this. Who's a Marvel fan? So I'm going to take you through a title sequences. I worked on Marvel movies and TV shows that are aired on Disney+. My name is in the end credits for over 15 properties. And each one of these is built on how do you ideate the future in technology. So here's just a smattering of them. I'm only going to focus on one. I do have others if you want to see them if we have time at the end. But top left is WandaVision. We have Avengers Endgame here, Moon Knight, Loki, Hawkeye, Spider-Man Far From Home, Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is the one I selected for you today. So the premise of that one, WandaVision, the entire technology was built off the original TV. TV was built out of pixels. We created. This particular series starts in the 1950s and goes through to present day. So we needed to pay homage to the past, but yet bring it into the future. With that said, we received an Emmy nomination for it. So I sent 4 of the designers during COVID to the Emmys. Unfortunately, we lost, but we were still nominated. So how does technology live in movies? Again, Marvel consistently says, ideate the future for us. So you can look at a bunch of the movies that we've done, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi, Black Widow. We've done technology in the middle of all these movies. And prior to me coming to Perception, they did all of Iron Man's technology. And Black Panther, Wakanda. When these materials come to us, there's nothing there. All it is Tom Holland doing this. And then it's our responsibility to help tell the story through the technology and then creating it through technology. So that's the fascinating thing technology can do today. Now, because we've worked on so many or a creative innovation lab often get clients come say, we want Iron Man. You know it's fiction. How do we make it real? GM is one of those people. They came to us and asked us to help them with the first EV, which is an electric vehicle. And what they asked us to do was help design all of the digital instrument cluster, which is your dashboard, including your information. It's all touchscreen, and it's now the first vehicle out there that has actually been built off of Epic's games, Unreal Engine. So, the only one I point out to you is this particular one, we not only created the technology on how this is, but we also branded and named it this crab walk. This vehicle can move sideways. The next one I'll take you through is Intel. Intel came to us and said, we're doing a documentary on the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is broken. So they flew drones over it and then asked us to help visualize what it used to look like. There we go. I'm not sure they're going to play, but these videos, because they're coming off the internet, yeah, they won't. But you can see some of the visual here, up, and this goes all the way down the wall. In addition, we also do the block count for them. So this is all part of Intel's Great Wall of China documentary. Okay, there we go. That leads me to today, Ocean. I'm here to create my next chapter. Since I've done quite a bit in traditional advertising, digital advertising, film, and now I'm here to help this team deliver the best work they possibly can. So I leave you with this quote. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Don't limit yourself. Think big. Go for it.